Hey, we're back, you family that I love. So we're talking about how to live an ageless lifestyle today. And I was led this week to the book of Jonah. And any of you that know the story of Jonah, God asked Jonah to go to Nineveh. And Nineveh was this wicked place. And Jonah was the guy God chose to turn it all around for them. And when I think of that story, I think that many of us are living in our own Nineveh, a Nineveh of sickness, a Nineveh of alcoholism, a Nineveh of grief. Many of you are carrying a burden of grief with you, whether it's from the loss of a child, the loss of a relationship, the loss of a spouse, a pet. Many of you are in your own Nineveh, a place not of wickedness, but a place that is just so chaotic and so disruptive that it's causing your body to react and respond. You know, the community is a community of people that are just heading to the doctor's office. If many of you, I bet you wait months to get doctor's appointments because of the amount of people that are sick. It's a Nineveh. It's a sickness. It's carrying things that you shouldn't be carrying that are turning your body against you. And I make this analogy so that you understand the urgency of the moment that we're living in. And I will tell you the truth. I'll be honest with my Q family, just like Jonah, I fought God too. I remember when I did one of these Christian things, right? Oh, God, use me anywhere, but I'm never going to move. And he's like, go to the villages. And I'm like, well, not there. So many times when you want to, move to a different thing or do something else or get up and exercise or put down the hot fudge, you don't do it because of that brain function that just keeps telling you that it's good for you. But just like the city of Nineveh was full of sickness, I mean, they were just acting out and doing things they shouldn't do. You know, it took Jonah to come along and preach to that city unless God destroyed it. So think of your body. You know, if your body is going through that same kind of Nineveh, that same kind of turmoil, it's going to be destroyed. That's what happens. Turmoil, and it's illness and illness upon illness and sickness upon sickness. The root is what we need to find out. And some of the root of the causes are things that we do. I am sorry that I have to be the one to be telling you the truth. And some of you probably just turn the radio off because you don't want to hear the truth. But the truth is that some of us are living in Nineveh, our bodies of Nineveh, because of the sickness that we ourselves created. So I'm grateful for the encouragement of the story of Jonah, where he was able to turn the ship around for the people so that he spoke the truth. But the funny part about the story of Jonah was that Jonah really wanted Nineveh to be destroyed. He was mad at God for not destroying Nineveh, even though they turned their hearts around. And when Jonah went to go pout, God planted a seed, and Jonah was getting scorched in the sun. But God planted the seed, and then the seed grew, and it grew shade over Jonah. And he was so happy to have some shade. Then all of a sudden, the next day, that shade was taken away, and he got mad at God. And God says something really key to him. He says, I gave you a vine, but you do not need it to make, but you did not tend to it to make it grow. It sprang up overnight and died overnight. So listen to those words. I gave you a vine, but you did not tend to it or make it grow. It sprang up overnight and it died overnight. So what is happening? We have these bodies. We get medical attention. We go to the doctor. Some of you, I know, are feeling really uncomfortable right now by everything that I'm saying. So here it is for many of you. You know that you need to have a healthy body. Just like the story I just told about the beer and the gout. That's a choice that people make. God gave you the vine to protect you from the pain, from the illness, from all of those things. But if you choose to grab for the beer and you have gout, instead of grabbing for the water, then that's on you. Your bodies need to be nurtured. You know, I was listening to the news, I guess, that James had on the radio before the show started, and there was a story about how to fertilize and, you know, how that fertilizer is contaminating the community. So we need to go easy with all of our fertilizer. And I think about how much many of you are probably out there with that meticulous lawn, and you're probably mad that you can't put all the fertilizer you want on your lawn, even though we know that it's corrupting and you know, infiltrating the water supply. But look at all of the effort and the energy that you're spending on your lawn so that it looks beautiful, it's pristine. Many of you don't even care how much money you spend on your lawn. You want it to look good and be the best lawn because that gives you gratification. But some of you are out there, you could barely walk to go water your lawns. So look at how you tend to your bodies in the same exact way. And I'm going to give you some encouragement here that any change you make right now, any single change you make right now, little and tiny as it is, you just went to grab for the cookie, instead you grabbed a glass of water. That little change is going to make huge payoff in the future. Huge. Little tiny changes that you make now are huge for the future. So let's look to the future. And I'm crying out to you in love today over this. My father was an immigrant, and we talked about that in the first segment, and he came over in this country and he was deported 7 times. And I speak truth here, Q family, and this is no surprise. Our country is being inundated by immigrants. And unlike my father's day, they're being, you know, where he had it shipped away for right paperwork, they're being allowed to stay. What we don't know yet is what disease and germ and all of those things are infiltrating our country right now. You don't know. We were blindsided when COVID hit, totally blindsided. And that gave the virus the ability to spread because the bodies of the people on the ages over 40 abuse their bodies. Processed food, you know, alcohol, large portions, milkshakes, other madness, it didn't matter. But we were blindsided. So look now and say to yourself, I have to get this body in shape. This is what we need to do. You get your body in shape now, you're not even going to know if another virus hits you. We talked about getting our bodies in shape, and I'll focus the next few weeks on powering up our immune systems. But there's an urgency now for you to get your body in the best shape. No one wants to be sick. Yet for many of you, God provides you the vine for the shade, but you don't care. You'll gladly pop another pill, and you'll gladly look for another medication, and you'll gladly replace another body part that you have to fix. And then you'll gladly cry about it, and you'll complain about it. We need to be on alert and expect the unexpected. We need to rely on God's healing power and remember Jonah, that God provided him the shade, but he didn't nurture it and he didn't make it grow. So I'm giving you the information, and over the next few weeks, we're going to have the information on how we get this body to be ready for our immune systems, building up our immune systems so that when the virus comes or the germ comes or the, locust or cicada, start laying around us, we are prepared and ready for it. Some of you, God has provided the opportunity to have a hip replacement. You choose to sit there instead of getting up and moving it around and exercising it to make it stronger. For some of you, you've been provided great doctors who are trying to get rid of your illnesses, but you're working against the doctor and you're working against yourself. And some of you probably light up your cigarettes as you walk on out of the doctor's office, knowing that that cigarette is causing you harm. Some of you leave the doctor's office and you head home with your gout and you go have another beer. And you know that this isn't good for you. So the madness needs to turn around now. And I get very frustrated because I hear these horror stories of people in their sickness all day long. And they come in for a pill to reduce blood sugar. Sure, I could sell you that. But first I ask you, what's your diet look like?
Oh.
I do. And
you've been listening to my Sunday school lessons? I'm just curious.
No. Or were you talking about this?
Well, I just went through the whole story of Jonah.
No.
The word cry, how he cried out from the belly of the fish. And how most of our storms in our life are self-inflicted.
No.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So clearly, there is a message that needs to be given out to the people. And you got to get out of your Nineveh.
How many people do you hear say, oh, this happened to me and this happened to me, and then you listen to the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say.
Yeah.
And they say, well, I did this, which really caused this, and it's self-inflicted storms.
That's right. And they're doing it to their bodies.
That's it.
And all of it, because you...
you got a skinny pill? I want one of them.
Yeah, so do I. Let me tell you, so do I. The hard way is just hard. But you have to realize what you're doing. You know, you're living in Nineveh. It's all I could say. I mean, the story of Jonah is really profound.
You know, the biggest thing I found in that story that I've read and
yeah.
never caught, he purposely ran from God.
Yes.
God knows all.
Yes.
He's everywhere at the same time. He's
right.
omniscient.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the word.
That word, yeah.
Yeah, omnipotent.
I can't spell it, but...
Omnipotent, okay. So if he's there everywhere, can you really run from him?
No.
But he purposely ran from the presence of God. I would never,
right.
ever have that desire in my heart to run from the presence of God. You
right.
talk about a self-inflicted storm?
Yeah.
How'd that work out for him?
Yeah, well, he ended up in the belly of the world. Yeah, that too.
And then he was vomited up onto dry land.
Right.
Can you imagine that smell? Just self-inflicted storms.
And we do it, people do it to their bodies, and that's what my cry out is. So as we look to the future, Q family, you know, we just got through the season of a virus. Many of you kept yourself in a house for 3 years. This shouldn't be. If you had your body and your immune system at full 100% capacity, you could walk through any storm. And if you have your body in 100% capacity, even 80% capacity for some of you, you could walk through any storm. Not just physical storm, but emotional storm, a social, you know, fight with the neighbor storm. Any kind of storm that comes at your way, you're able to fight it because your brain is functioning at capacity. Now, I saw a few of you just roll your eyeballs because you don't like hearing the truth. But many of you are on the hamster wheel and you don't know how to get off of it. Many of you are just on the hamster wheel of medications, on the hamster wheel of anger, on the hamster wheel of bitterness, on the hamster wheel of financial issues. You're just on the hamster wheel and you just don't either want to get off of it, don't know how to get off of it, don't know where to turn to get off of it. And you're living in your own Nineveh because of it. Improving your health and feeling good and having good mental brain function as we go through living our ageless life will help you feel and be a lot better to make those decisions, to have the right conversations, to get out of your Nineveh, get up and off the couch and out of your Nineveh and into society who needs you, who needs your touch. You are created to be a blessing to someone else, and that is how we need to walk in this earth. Many of you have skills that other people need, and you're just not doing it because you're in your Nineveh and you think that you can't get out of it. But God has planted that seed and you have the shade. So grow it and nurture it and move on. I didn't expect to go to school at this late age in life. And believe me, it isn't easy. It's very, very hard. And I cry a lot. But in the end, it's worth it because I have so much more knowledge and so many more things I could tell you and so much truth that is out there. So we're going to look to getting these bodies protected and being the best they could be. And, you know, baby steps. I'm not telling you to change everything at this moment. I am telling you to take baby steps. And baby steps will inspire you to make bigger other changes in your life. You are going to move from freedom of breaking these chains of destruction that Satan has around your life. He has lied to you. It's time to turn it around. And we come back. I'm going to give you ways to do that. See you soon.